If you've been watching this channel for a while, you probably know by now that I run a program called the Executive Career Accelerator. It helps mid-career professionals become executives. I have a lot of phone calls with people to determine whether they're a good fit for the program. And in these conversations, they're called discovery calls. What we do is we get into understanding a lot about where the individual is, where she or he are in their career. Are they stuck? What's holding them back? What specifically are the things that are blocking them from taking that next step in their career? During that discovery call, I tend to figure out pretty quickly, okay, this person needs A, B, C. We have a program that's kind of pretty large and comprehensive program to help people make that transition. But people show up with different needs. Some people need all of it. Some people only need one or two things. In either case, in any of those cases, it's a transformation because at the end of the program, they are now capable or have already landed an executive role. And so that is a transformation. So you join a program, we teach you everything you need to do, we work side by side with you, and then on the other side, you become an executive. And this does work. We have lots of testimonials and case studies now from people who have gone through this program, who have successfully completed this program and have made the transformation from professional to executive. But when I have these discovery calls, something interesting happens quite often. And I wanted to talk about specifically this thing that holds a lot of people back from taking the next step towards joining a program like this. Whether you join my program or you join another program or you buy a book, like it doesn't matter. The point is that it seems like there's this one thing that's common in all of the objections that I hear when people say like, I'm not ready for this. Let me talk about that. So my name is Tom, and as I've mentioned, I run the Executive Career Accelerator for Vertical Motion. And at the end of this video, you'll have a link to another video that explains exactly how the program works and how you can take that next step in your career. But right now, what I want to do is I want to focus in on explaining what I think is holding a lot of people back from taking that next step in their executive career journey. So I get a lot of objections that feel like a smokescreen to me. Everyone is saying, well, I want to think about it, or I need to talk with my spouse, or I need to, come up with the money, or I have to wait for this other thing to finish, or let me just get back to you next week, or I need time, or I'm not ready. All of these objections, basically, they go back to one core problem, which is that the person I'm talking to doesn't necessarily believe that this transformation will work for them. So part of that is my responsibility to figure this out, how to help people feel comfortable and confident when they get on a call with me, because what I'm doing is I'm explaining how I can help them specifically with their specific situation and their specific goals, right? So the program is pretty well defined, and you can watch a video on how the program works, but that's not enough. You need to understand exactly how this is going to apply to you. And so that's the purpose of this discovery call. First is to understand where you are and where you're trying to go, and if I can help you. So this isn't just, am I a good fit for you, but it's, are you a good fit for me? Is what I do going to help you take that next step in your career? Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. There are times where halfway through the call, it becomes very clear to one or both of us that this just isn't the right fit, and you probably need something different. And I send people off to other YouTubers and to other coaches and books and other things that will help them on their journey. And I'm happy to do that. Then there's a whole bunch of people who join the program and they're excited to join. And those are the people that are in the program right now. But then there's this third category of people who basically can't make the decision on the call. They need time. They need to talk to their spouse. They need information. They need something. They don't even know what it is that they need, but they're not ready to make that decision. So I want to talk about what I think that is. It's that this might work for others, but I don't think it's going to work for me. And that may be because you don't believe that I can help you make that transformation, that I'm not a good enough coach, that I don't have enough experience, or the course isn't the right kind of course, or there's just not enough proof that this course actually works. And that's all fine. Those objections are absolutely valid. And for that, I do have a number of testimonials, and glad to even connect you with people who are in the program to hear from them directly if you're serious about joining the program, so that you can get a sense of what it's like on the inside, so that we can tamp that stuff down and put that to bed. But I think there's another objection that really comes up. Some of the people that I work with are so beaten down and have lost lost so much faith and hope that they just don't feel like they deserve to grow in their career, that they haven't earned the right to move up, and that it never happens for them. So why would this happen? This all sounds good, and I'm sure the program is great, but I can't make that transformation. I can't do this. And what I'll say is that I think this holds a lot of us back from a lot of things. When you invest money in a transformation, it makes it that you need to complete that transformation. And so that's a big step that you're willing to take right then and there. You commit a significant amount of money and a significant amount of time. It's not terribly significant. It's 4 hours a week, basically, but it's still a chunk of time. And it's something you're going to be doing for 6 months. On the other side of it, yes, you will be an executive. Almost certainly you will have everything you need in order to find and land and excel in an executive role. But that is so esoteric. It's so out there. And you may only see this version of yourself that just can't seem to even get motivated to go to the job that you have. How can that version of you become someone who is great enough to go and win an executive role somewhere and then do a great job to get promoted from there? I find that inner monologue is what is drowning out the possibility of improvement and all of the things that come from investing in yourself. And I think that we need to talk about how to deal with that inner monologue, where this might work for others, but it won't work for me. And again, if that's because you don't believe I can help you, then I have case studies and testimonials and happy to explain what I do more clearly and succinctly. But that's not what most of the objections are. Most people feel like the program works. It's that they can't complete the program individually, they themselves. And I will tell you that it is a lot of people who ultimately get right up to the line and then stand there and then freeze, and then they never make the leap, and they wind up just stuck right where they were all along, and nothing changes for them. And I've been watching some folks at this line now for 6 months. Some conversations I had 6 months ago, they're still following my content. They're still talking about maybe someday doing it, but they just haven't made that leap. And it's because they themselves don't believe that they can make the transformation. So with that said, how do you deal with this? How do you get yourself past that line? How do you go ahead and take that first step towards the rest of your career, towards growth as a person? How do you make that? How do you get past that point, that moment of fear and that moment of, I can't make this decision. I can't invest this money. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Well, here's the thing. The way humans make decisions is we very quickly make a decision. We have decided to do something, one or the other. When you're on a call with me, somewhere on that call, you make a decision. And it's, I'm going to join, or it's, I'm not going to join. And I think what happens is most people make the decision, I'm going to join. But then what happens is they get nervous and anxious about that decision. So they've decided to join, but now they're fighting the fear that holds them back from actually taking action on the decision that they've made. And this paralyzes people. It's the same when you decide, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to find a new job. And then nothing happens for months because all you do is you kind of like placate that need by pressing quick apply on LinkedIn or searching Indeed and not finding anything. Maybe you send a resume into a couple bot accounts and hope for the best, but you're not really leaning into that because quite honestly, you're afraid because you don't know what's on the other side. Like as bad as the situation is right now, it's paying the bills, it's keeping the lights on, it's keeping you employed and with health benefits and on all of the things, but you're just kind of stuck there and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. But change can sometimes be harder than not changing. And that's when you get stuck where you are. You've made a decision to change your career or, make an investment in yourself. And now you can't take action on that. You've decided, but now you're frozen. And that's the people that I'm trying to talk to right now. What do you do in that situation? Well, there's a couple things. First of all, whatever you focus on, that is what will manifest in your life. If you focus on being broke, if you fret and stress about running out of money, you're going to run out of money. It's invariable. It's absolutely crazy how the things you focus on are what manifests in your life. If you focus on, I'm going to be a runner, then you will eventually be a runner and you'll do the things that runners do, which includes, by the way, running, and you will lose weight and you will get healthy and you will be stronger and your bones will be stronger and you'll be able to do 5Ks and 10Ks. If you focus on that, if you focus on, I'm just fat, I'm never going to lose weight and I'm just miserable. It's my genetics. It's my, my bad back, my knee, whatever. You get stuck there. And what happens is you manifest all of the bad things because that's what you're focused on. That's what you're thinking about. If you are thinking about like, I'm not deserving or worthy of a promotion into an executive role, guess what? That's exactly what's going to happen for you. Whatever you think is typically going to be what you manifest, because we do all of these micro expressions and these micro decisions and these little things that are tied back to this inner monologue in your head about where you're trying to go in your life and your career. If you've decided that it's time for you to take action and move forward with something, nothing is going to stop you from doing that except yourself. You can make changes. You have to choose to change. And once you've made that choice and that decision and you commit to it, nothing is going to stop you from getting where you want to go. So think of it this way. If you decide, all right, well, I'm 200 pounds, I want to be 150 pounds, I want to lose 50 pounds. Well, you decide to commit to a healthy lifestyle and your decision is like, I'm going to be 150 pounds. I've decided that. Now, everything you do is aimed and geared towards that. And no matter how painful it is to stop eating junk food or deal with dopamine detox or get on a treadmill or get on a scale or, measure the portions of your food, follow a strict plan in terms of caloric count or whatever. The analogy is that if you make the decision to become a version of yourself that can be 150 pounds instead of 200 pounds, that's all you have to do. And then invariably, you will get there over time. You can get there faster or slower depending on how strong your commitment actually is. But if you strongly commit to, I'm going to do this, then that commitment leads to a whole bunch of micro decisions and experiences that ultimately guide you and lead you towards actually manifesting that in your life. And it turns out that we can tolerate a lot of pain as humans. Change only happens when not changing is harder than actually changing. And some people will not change to their own detriment for years without feeling any kind of sense of joy or happiness. We can be in pain for a lot. And there's a lot of people who just have a very high tolerance of pain. And so they won't make the changes in their lives that they know that they need to make in order to be happier, to be healthier, to be more successful, to grow. They're just not willing to make those changes because they're afraid of the change. It's not that they're afraid of version of themselves that they'll become. It's that they're afraid of the change itself, that they've gotten so attached to their habits that as soon as they change them and let them go, it feels very uncomfortable and they feel very exposed and they feel like they don't have control. And that feeling is what holds a lot of people back. Same thing goes for when you make a major investment in yourself. You are betting on yourself. You're taking money that you've earned at some point in your life and you're placing it on the table and saying, I'm going to use this money to make me a better version of myself so that I can make even more money, 10 times more than the investment that I made year over year, for example. And I think that people find that just being where they are right now, tolerating the pain of the mediocre role that they're in, or trying to figure things out on their own, alone, just by looking at LinkedIn and Indeed, for new opportunities is good enough. And that's all the change that they really need to make. I think that when you understand what we do in this program and how holistic it is and how supported you are in taking that next step in your career, I'll say it this way. If you knew for a fact that you joined this program and with 100% assurance, you were going to, in the next 6 months, land an executive role in a company that lights you up, the organization is exactly culturally matched to you, and you were making $100,000 a year more, and I told you the program was $7,500, you would find $7,500 to join that program. Another way to say it is if I told you, you give me $7,500 and I'm going to give you a Ferrari. Well, you're going to go find $7,500 and throw that money at because the value of the Ferrari is closer to $300,000. So of course, the value on the other side of this trade is way higher than the $7,500 that you're thinking about giving me. If you think about the move from the director level to the VP level, according to Glassdoor, it's about $100,000 difference in compensation, normalized across the entire United States, right? So let's take half of that. Let's just say it's $50,000 that you have an increase in total income coming home to you every year, right? So you go through this program, you do all the things, you land a job, and you get paid 50 grand more. Well, that's 7 times more than the investment that you just made, right? So like you've already recouped that investment and you're going to make that 50 grand more every year, year over year. For how long? And then eventually now you have all the skills to take even the next step in your career. So now you're making 100 grand more and then 200 grand more. And would you have gotten there as quickly without this course? The answer is no. So you can do this in 5 months or you can do this in 5 years. So the course makes sense. It makes logical sense when you think of it that way. The questions are, do you actually believe that this course will work for you? And the answer is, it does work for a lot of people, and there's no reason it wouldn't work for you if, while we are on the call, and I tell you, I can see how you're going to do great in this program, that should indicate to you that I'm telling you that the confidence level that I have that you will be successful is 80% or greater. So even if you take an 80% discount to that 50 grand, that's still 40 grand more than you would have made. That's still 5 times what you would have invested. So the point is that like you run out of reasons to not actually join the program pretty quickly. It just comes down to fear. We choose greatness. And that's the most important thing I want you to take away from this video, is that you choose to be great. You can choose to be an executive. It's your choice what you do with your career. You can choose what you think is safe, being where you are in a situation where you can get laid off at any moment, doing work that you don't enjoy anymore for a culture that you don't feel comfortable in, and you don't have the skills and all of the tools necessary to make any change in your career. Over here, we're teaching you everything you need to know to basically be layoff proof. Because if you ever do get laid off, your network will be so hot that you'll have 3 offers in your inbox before your personal effects box hits the backseat of your car when they lay you off. There's actually a whole lot more safety in this investment than there is in avoiding this investment. So all of that is to say that you can choose where you want to go in your career. You can choose whether you actually invest in yourself. And when you do invest in yourself in a program like this, mine or another one, it's definitely going to pay off in spades. I can't see a situation where someone joins this program and they don't get the value from it. And if that happens to you, let's have a conversation. Let's figure out how to make it work for you. You know, we won't give up on helping you make a transformation. If I have you join the program and you can't make that transformation, then I did something wrong and I'm willing to figure out how to fix that. And all you have to do is follow the path of others before you who have kind of trailblazed this for you, right? So Julia, Jennifer, Diane, Dan, Lewis, Charles, all of these people have made the transformation to executive in the program. There's another 20 plus people in the program who are going through the process right now. One is interviewing for a chief medical officer role. One is interviewing for a VP level role in a Fortune 100 company. One is starting his own organization and actually going to be the CEO of a new company that's a funded startup with a lot of potential and is being offered C-level roles all throughout his industry. It's just amazing how many people are being offered amazing roles at the executive level because of the work that they're doing inside of the program. So follow in their footsteps and believe that they had the same hesitations and reservations that you have. If you are anxious and nervous about this, just know that a lot of people are. And then they join the program anyway. And then they get all the success. And they're surrounded by people who are just like them. Like when you join our community, you're in this Slack community with people who are just like you. And they started out just as anxious and afraid as you. And the next thing you know, they're now super confident versions of themselves, and they're talking to you saying like, yeah, it's going to be fine. Just follow us. We'll show you the way. That's what you need right now. And that's what I try to say all of this on a call, and I can't because there's just not enough time. So I'm including this video here for you to understand exactly what you need to understand when you take that next step on the call with me. When you and I talk on a discovery call and it's time for us to decide whether we're going to work together or not, you have to be decisive in that moment. You can decide, this is right for me, and I love that. I'm excited to have you join. You can decide this is wrong for me, and that's fine. I'm also okay with that and happy to send you in the right direction. But if you can't decide, if you're in this like, I don't know, I need to think about it, I need to talk to my spouse. If you're in that state, it's frustrating for me because I see the value that I'm giving you in this program and you can't. And either I did something wrong, which is usually the case, like I missed something, I didn't get you to understand the true value of the program, or you're just not believing in yourself to transform. I want you to suspend that feeling and believe in yourself and take a step forward. And if it doesn't work out, we'll figure it out together. We'll figure out what the next steps are. If, hey, this program just isn't working for me, we'll figure that out together. But be willing to understand that you've probably already made a decision, and what you're feeling is fear around that decision. You're not indecisive. It's you've decided, but now you feel the fear of what the repercussions of that decision are. And people will stand right here on the edge of deciding to be great, of choosing greatness. They stand there on the edge for months sometimes. And it's frustrating for me because I see greatness in so many people that can't see it in themselves. So I hope this video was helpful. The point of this is to help you understand that you can choose to be great. You have to believe in yourself to take the next step in your career. If you don't, it's not going to work. So I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to take that next step in our conversation. And if this is helpful to you, then let's have a conversation to close the deal and get to work together. All right. That's what I have for you today. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you in the next one.